It's all right, please. For the regular council meeting for the city of Ellsworth for Monday, 24th, 2025. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the consent agenda includes the water and sewer termination, extension requests, and the approval of the February 10th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. Do we have any terminations? No terminations?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular council meeting minutes for February 10th of 2025.
I'll second that.
Councilor Panzer has made a motion to approve the consent agenda for February 10th, 2025, and the water sewer termination request. There are none. Councilor Bernard has seconded that motion. Any debate, any concerns about these items? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. We have no petitions and delegations tonight. Nobody signed up, which is okay. Unfinished business. We have the approval of a fireworks ordinance 3168. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. I believe it was the last meeting. We had a good thorough discussion of it.
Mr. Mayor, Council is, again, we discuss you will make any changes in there, anything different, before you adopt it. I mean, there was some talk about, I think there was a little piece in there about you want to allow New Year's time or New Year's Eve. Again, that's up for the council, decide what you want to do and the number of days. Right now, state law basically gives you 7 days. And most lawsuits follow sundown, of course. There is some talk in the state legislature right now, actually increasing that to 14 days. But you don't have, but I doubt if any city is gonna go 14. But you also may realize that, somebody could be outside the county and say limits
I can shoot.
and do them there, I know everybody likes to press those days down. But I always say if you sell them, you better let go of them alone. Because, if you sell 2 days, you start selling June 28th allowed until July 1. Somebody's gonna blow them up and police are gonna have a problem because.
And parents are gonna have a problem because we bought them all. Can we go out and shoot some? Yeah,
And so does this room where kids at one time.
that's what I was thinking. When I read through this, it said July 31st through the 3rd.
July
And-
1st.
First.
Yeah, July 1st through the 3rd. And I didn't know if we couldn't move it back into June just a little bit more.
It's what you guys want to do. I mean, as a
Yes.
council.
Yeah.
You want to do as a group. Yeah.
Because I can remember it's only was 60 years ago. But that's why your highlights of the year besides Christmas when you're a young child. And girls and boys both. So I hate to just tell them they can't.
My advice would be is line your selling and shooting, and this is experience, selling and discharge to the same dates.
What's the 27th?
It's state law, and that's what we do,
Yeah.
but you're not allowed to.
We-
Multiple twice every year.
Here we can only shoot them off on the 3rd,
Yeah,
so.
we gotta make,
So decide where you want to go, and we also be writing this a little bit to get those dates, and again, decide that. The other key issue I think you have to look at is residential sales. And I know you've had some for years, you want to continue that, you want to get away from it, and there's pros and cons. I mean, I know you have tradition here. But also you got insurance issues, I think over here as well, require them to have commercial insurance versus residential. I think that's an issue that needs to be at least discussed.
yeah.
And then the other thing issue is storage Because in where you sell them, you have to keep them so far away, but where you store them at your house, and, I mean, those are things you wanna talk about safety and with your fire chief and everything else, so.
I mean, I know this year, I wanna sell my house, so. I'm for residential, like I mean, people
Yeah.
sold them in town before,
Yeah,
you know, that's
and
what I want.
it's like the other folks, Herman's.
They're in there.
Those, some people depend on that for their yearly income. That's how they use
Yeah.
support their family, and I don't think we should
And again,
harass them
that's
or
a choice.
punish
You know,
them.
the question is, you have a zoning issue at the same time here, because, you know, is that a residential business or at-home business? And that's probably borderline a little bit, because it's not a year-round business like that, like most of the
I'm
residential.
like, you know, they go ahead and pay the commercial insurance
Yeah.
and they follow all the rules. I don't see any problem with them doing it, really. I don't. What do you think?
I think it's if they can find the commercial insurance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't get it.
I have heard many
And I-
people say something about it's hard enough with their dogs dealing with it for 2 days, let alone possibly extending it, so. That's just one opposition I have heard to it.
And of course, I just moved here from a military town that there was a group that says zero because of PTSD issues. And there was a group that says, I fought for that right. So, you know,
Yeah,
and the city was in the middle.
Well, I think the first would be fine,
we'll give you 4 days.
and that's better than what we had.
I guess the kids would only have to wait actually 3 days to shoot them, where the parents said, well, we can wait till the first of 5 or so.
Well, the question, of course, is you can line your sale dates up with your discharge dates. In other words, if you can't discharge till July 1, you can't buy them till July 1.
I wouldn't do that.
Okay,
I'd
and
leave it like it was, because Canopolis, they can blast, well, a long time, so if you're selling the 27th, they'll come by, I mean, that's how we.
I get it.
And we never opened until the first anyway, and it was fine for us, I mean, we just waited, because we didn't want to take that many days off work to do it.
Yeah,
I'd say leave the sales, but you can shoot them down at the first,
okay.
is my opinion.
Yeah, but
I also want to sell out of my shop at the house too. And it's hard to find commercial ground to do that, you know? I mean, not everybody can go buy a commercial property just to sell fireworks
Does
a week.
does the Legion rent you that space up there?
Well, that's through the other guys, we're going,
Oh, you're separate from
Yeah.
that? Okay,
they're wanting to be separate.
you're
yeah,
wanting to be separate from that, okay.
yeah,
Cause I know they used to set up there, where the car wash was, too,
yeah,
on the highway there.
yeah, I mean. But the insurance thing is what I don't get, because why do I have to carry insurance at my house to sell fireworks when I'm not on city property? Why do I have to name the city? Why do I have to pay them?
That got corrected,
Oh, did it?
yeah.
You don't want to name the city as additional, I agree with that.
But I think his point is that
I don't get why.
if he's got adequate home, like liability
Yeah.
aspect on his homeowners. And I'm not, every company's different. I'm not saying that company's gonna pay out in the event that the fact that you're selling out of your fireworks out of your house. They may say, no, that's not a covered peril, obviously, but a liability issue, you know, I'm not sure every company's gonna be a little different in that area. But, the point being is it's not. Tyler would have liability insurance already.
Yeah,
So-
anybody that,
It would just depend
Yeah,
on
that's what I'm
the
getting.
amount, but again, it doesn't mean that it's gonna cover a claim either, possibly.
So do you believe that the city should require insurance requirements?
I think,
Limits, yeah.
you're getting into 1,000 different scenarios with the fact that one company might say, yeah, we would cover a claim, and another company might say, well, no, we wanna cover a claim. But both individuals could say, hey, here's a document showing that I have liability insurance. My house personally, that I'm currently in, yeah, I've got $1 million at my house because I have a pool and everything else, and you just never know. So I mean, I could show you I have $1 million liability.
So the coverage is.
That's where, that's the question at hand, so. I'm just saying, for some people, it could be possible to where they could utilize that, but. It would be hard to know for sure, so.
I mean, I would say is if you're gonna sell on city property, the city would require. Would be why you would have it to protect the city, correct? Isn't that the whole point?
Sure, it's somebody else And I don't know what the Legion does, the Legion might say, yeah, you can sell on our property as long as you have insurance.
But
That's
see,
their-
they had a policy for that because that wasn't their property.
Sure.
It was
Yeah.
on theirs, and yeah, but where I'm on my own, I don't,
I came up,
that's what I'm getting at.
since I drafted that and had that provision, that I talked about, I've been there reviewing for like several different places, that I work that have reviewed their fireworks policy, and I've always, based on the templates I've done and what other people have done, have included something like that. The idea being is, okay, we're giving you permission to sell fireworks from your stand. There's some inherent risk with doing that, obviously. And so we're letting you do it, but we want to make sure that if something goes, worst case scenario, you're drawing and you burn your neighbor's house down, not just your own.
Yeah.
We want to at least make sure that your neighbor's gonna get made whole and not have to go through it. So that's the theory behind requiring some liability insurance from the fireworks stand, regardless of whether they're at a house or commercial. They're just saying, hey, before, and we do this, I think, in some of our other peddlers licensing is like, hey, if you come in to sell a food truck, we just want to make, I think we do require, maybe we don't. There's other things that we do require, just, hey, do you have some insurance? You know, I know with professional fireworks displays, we've always required certificate of insurance, because hey, if something goes wrong, we want to make sure that we've done a little bit of due diligence. So that's is it legally required to do that? Maybe not, but that's the reason why I've always included that in there. I have no help for the debate of how many days to do fireworks, because every human on earth has a different opinion about that subject. But I just want to answer the theory about.
So what you're saying, if, like, anybody says, I'm gonna sell fireworks, here's my homeowner's insurance, I talked to my company, and they said, yes, I do have liability to cover that.
When they ask for their permit to sell at their house, the way the ordinance is drafted, they come apply for a permit, and then somebody's just supposed to check and say, do you have insurance? And if they have a letter from their homeowner's insurance that says they're covered for selling fireworks, that's between them and their policy.
Okay,
I think what Councilmember Johnson's saying is that we should probably check and make sure that policy covers selling fireworks, because I think your typical homeowner's insurance policy might not say, hey, you're covered for commercial fireworks sales.
I do.
Probably not, probably the fine print is gonna say something about that.
Okay,
That's all I have.
What's the pleasure, you know, where do you want us to head as far as, you know, finalize the orders so you can adopt with them? So we're okay with the days? July 1.
Yeah, I think
July
they
4.
were good.
okay, if everybody agrees on dates, that's fine.
10 o'clock, cut off on the first of the third. And then a cut off on midnight on the fourth. And I know there was some discussion last time, that you want to allow midnight on the third, because I don't do work tomorrow, and I will have friends over, and we're gonna shoot fireworks till midnight.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, because then you're gonna be like, oh, can we do it? Can we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 till 10.
Nobody's working the next day, so, well, some people are, I'm sure. If the work was on a Friday night, then they can, you know, go to midnight, so.
But we'll have to rework it when the final is Patrick, and then we'll bring back this meeting, yeah. I think any other suggestions you have?
I mean, just that, I guess, the insurance, if you're not on city property, what do you gotta have? You know, well, isn't that my risk if I blow up my own shop and I don't, I mean.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
why,
You know, I mean, I'm
why
just
did you
trying,
blow up your neighbor's house?
I don't have a neighbor that lives next to me. I can blow, I can blow Randy's camper up, then I'd be screwed.
And again,
I just wanna get that figured out, 'cause we gotta order stuff, and I gotta know if we
as
gotta,
an attorney,
you know.
is that you are protected,
Yeah.
you know,
Through your homeowners, okay,
they may sue you, but,
Yeah.
you know, if you don't have the good, yeah, you know.
yeah, can't get blood out of the camper.
Right. Any other suggestions?
What's up?
Any other suggestions?
Everything else looked good, I
I
think.
sold them when I was a kid out of our house and I never had it.
Okay,
I
But
think
that was
it's-
a different world back then too.
Yeah, it's kind of a common sense thing if.
Well, see, you get inspected too,
Mhm.
so it's not, I mean, there's still some, the fire chief's checking you out too, so. I mean, that's
And I think, I'm sure that Tyler or anybody that sells fireworks realizes,
Well, we
if
can,
we have an accident at our stand and it damages my neighbor's property, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get sued and I'm gonna be liable.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You,
so
I hope, I don't
I
blow
think
the
it's
shop.
almost, I think it's almost.
You know?
We just wanted some guidance and
Well,
no vote.
if you want to vote, go ahead, but I always like to see ordinances in their final form when you vote. That's just Alan Biglism.
We're in no rush, we can wait.
And because that way there's no question, that way you vote once in front of you the next meeting.
Right.
I like
I
that.
think like, if I had the stand, if it was me doing it, I would want the insurance.
Yeah.
I feel just awkward as a city telling somebody else what. In that, I don't know, because like, I kind of agree with Tyler, you're on your personal property, it's your risk. But,
It is, yeah,
That's like, if he
I
has,
don't know.
he knows.
It's
that
a-
the neighbors can sue him.
you're talking for 4 days, it's not like you're opening a business for a year,
exactly.
so.
Yeah, it's not very long.
There are time limits for when your stand can be open? Did I miss, was that in here? I didn't see
I
it.
don't think you can be, I mean, I don't know, I
Like
figured
dawn
you
to
could, if
dusk.
you wanted to be open, you could be open.
I think it's the KRA that determines it, and that is incorporated by reference somewhere in there.
They always say, like.
Right, and it's not like you're open at midnight or. anything,
Yeah.
so it could be that. Thanks.
You want us to rework them? Then bring
Yeah,
it-
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's just.
Clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way everybody has a copy that they vote on.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody has more, they have a few days to. All right, so moving along, to new business. This is the approval of the fence ordinance 3169.
And then this ordinance, because we didn't pass the last one, if you approve it, it will be 31.
That ordinance just cleans things up, because it said all bar fire was illegal in the city of Ellsworth, this allowed industrial areas like car lots and stuff. And then they took out the other ordinances that. It said, it basically said it,
We're still with the same setbacks and heights and everything we did with Rikers on their lot and stuff. aren't we?
yeah, yeah. it's
Yeah,
still-
we didn't change any of that.
No.
Okay. I don't wanna make hardship for anybody that's got a business.
Yeah,
Let's do the best to try to get ahead.
that was the main thing of the.
Yeah, the other change we changed is because the interim. The old ordinance says that if, let's say Tyler and I are neighbors, but he wants to build a fence on the property line. He has to get my permission to take it to the city. I had a lot of concern about that in Wisconsin and Delvin, and I contacted their cities, because my problem is that puts the city in the middle of it. And I think property line disputes are not a city problem. That's a landowner situation, and you figure it out, because what would happen if I said, yes, Tyler, you can do it. And then I sell my house 5 years later, and my neighbor comes in and says, that's not on the property line itself, and the city approved it.
Yeah,
And I always think property line issues are your issues, and let you worry about them and leave the city out. And almost every city manager I talked to, I mean, I had 12 or so respond to me. I agree with that, because I never see that kind of language, so we did change it a little bit. We still require, but we're not guaranteeing, I'll let Patrick explain.
No, I don't really, I think Alan explained it, I just wanted to say it on the camera in case, because this will someday come up, will come up.
Yeah.
And so, after this ordinance is passed, if the city gives a fence permit, we are not certifying that that is the proper boundary line.
Yeah.
We're
That's
saying,
their
we're-
responsibility.
yes,
Sorry.
we're saying, yeah, no, Mayor, you're correct. We're saying you meet our requirements for fencing and you can put it here, but we're not, but if your neighbor says you're put on the property line in the wrong spot, that's not what, we're not guaranteeing that. Okay, now I've got it on the video.
Patrick, were you part of that when my son Sid and you were all the same age, played baseball?
Statute of limitations is passed, so I think I can.
Anyway, they were playing baseball in the backyard. The ball went in the neighbor's yard repeatedly. They went over and get it, and that neighbor called me and told me to keep those little bees out of her yard. And I said, they're playing baseball, they just go get a ball. the next day, she had a guy come put a barbed wire fence up in her backyard, so. And then I told Dave Britton about it, and Dave was on city council, and the day after that, she paid him to take the barbed wire fence back down. But people think they put up a barbed wire fence to fight their neighbors for something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just, it's crazy.
I mean, in hindsight, I can see your point. But-
Yeah.
But anyway,
I think you may have been playing baseball there.
but no, I just want to kind of say, because I think someday people, there'll be a boundary line dispute. I can see someone saying, hey, the city permitted it. Well, when we permit these in the future, we're not saying that's where the boundary line is. So I wanted to say that.
Okay.
That's good.
Patrick, while you're up here, can you talk on, the enforcement?
Yeah.
That went out?
Yes, I mean, where we pulled this from, you know, the idea is if kind of, not just to put it on, we made it a crime, an actual crime to put the barbed wire fence on. And what we were contemplating at the time was like, you know, someone putting barbed wire fence on it, and you could hurt somebody or an animal or something doing that. I do think someone, you know, this Chief Penny or the Sergeant Weigel made a good point that we probably have some barbed wire in some semi-agricultural areas of the city, so we'll need to kind of talk that through if we pass this, and I hadn't really thought of that at the time.
Yeah.
But we might have at least one person who's in city limits who has a patch who's fencing, do you think?
The one wants us to take it down.
Okay, well, so I think what we do with enforcement then is education and then then we wouldn't just jump into enforcement on the existing ones right away. But I think the current code doesn't allow fencing, does it? Like the barbed wire isn't legal now.
It says no barbed wire is a misdemeanor.
So if someone put a barbed wire fence up now, they're not in compliance with their code, so they're not gonna get grandfathered in. Cause it was never legal to put a barbed wire fence up in Ellsworth. What we did was just put all of our fencing laws in one place. Does that make sense or answer the question? So, yeah.
Just thought of some, how about the sheriff's office in prison?
They might have a little bit, the jail might have a little bit of immunity, and I don't know if we can regulate the jail because they're government entity. But, yeah. Definitely the prison should probably have whatever they need.
All right.
It's-
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the fence ordinance as ordinance number 3168.
I'll second it.
Councilor Nart has made a motion to approve the fence ordinance 3168. Councilor Panzer has seconded that motion. Any debate, any concerns? What's the number on here? 3168.
Since we dropped off the fireworks.
If we would have passed the fireworks, it would have.
A lot of good city clerk type.
Just like, sorry, let's just make sure we were getting the number right, so you're good.
Sound good?
All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This is an interesting one coming up. I saw this the other day and I was wondering, so good catch. Shed on the hospital property.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I saw a banner up there. I was like, huh? Go ahead.
All right, on August 23rd, 2021, the governing body condemned the hospital, both blocks. Then this year, 1883 Investments, the owner at the time of condemnation, quit claim the north 125 feet, which included the shed, to 8688 Investments. So now there's a fitness center, Relentless Training in that building right now. And the owner, or the current owners, I mean, they bought it with a good intention, but the guy in Nebraska should never sold it
Because it was condemned,
because
correct?
it was condemned.
Kind of not, that's the question.
Yeah, can I interject something real quick, Melvin? So and this is it is a confusing thing. So let me just add this. 2021, the city condemned, did a condemnation of, and it was listed 300 Kingsley as the condemned property, which is the old hospital. At the time, and forever, there was no smaller legal description than that whole block. So to just say we're only condemning the hospital portion, we would have had to survey out just the old hospital, which the city didn't want to pay to do or didn't need to. So I would just, at the time, nobody was really thinking about the other building. So there's a little bit of gray area there. It turns out, I think we all assumed, I know I assumed at the time the other building wasn't in good shape. Then turns out later, someone said it was in better shape. It's, I guess Delvin went, it's probably not in condemnable condition right now if it wasn't attached or connected, associated with the old hospital. Somebody did ask me, Delvin, if there was any chance of the old hospital falling onto that building, or if we were worried about that, because that would be a potential concern, but I don't know if you have. I haven't looked to see how far.
I think it's fine.
It wouldn't fall directly on that, no.
Somebody just asked, somebody raised that to me, so I guess my point is, it's. If we would have had a parcel that was just small enough to contain only the old hospital in 2021, we would have just condemned that parcel. Because legally, we really can't condemn things that aren't in bad shape, we condemn it, the old hospital could be falling apart and full of raccoons.
And the resolution said building,
Yeah.
didn't say buildings.
Yeah, but we did use the whole legal again, we used the legal description was just the block, because
It was easy.
and the owner at the time. Or any time prior, would have been proper for him to come to the city, we do these hearings when we condemn things. I wish he would have come and said, hey, I understand you're condemning 300 Kingsley. Would you please not condemn the associated building? And I think at that time, if that discussion had happened, it would have made sense to be like, well, maybe not, But no one ever did that until new people bought it. Now the new owners wanted it uncondemned, and so the decision is to either uncondemn it or leave it as is.
Well, they bought it and they've already surveyed their piece and it's good, so let's just change it to.
Yeah, because I don't want to do anything to hamper a new
No.
business.
Just make it,
Yeah.
the hospital condemned and the rest
Yeah,
that's not.
you got somebody,
Whatever's
you
not.
got somebody wanting to invest in your community,
Yeah.
make things better, then why are we gonna try to do something to stand in that? I don't think that's right.
That's your options, Counselor. Just want to bring everybody up. to-
Do we have? to-
I have a question for them if they don't mind answering. So if, let's say the day comes when the city finally finds somebody, or we finally get the opportunity to take down the old hospital. I mean, what would that be I don't know what the rules are gonna be at that point in time, but like, what if that? Probably wouldn't be the best idea to be in business during a tear down phase of a hospital possibly. Would that be an issue?
No.
Okay.
I don't see it to be an issue.
But then even if they're tearing it down, they shouldn't be driving on your guys' property anyway, right? I mean, to do it, so.
I think
They got their own entrance.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So it's not a separate property, it's the same property as the land is.
They got big. 25 feet.
The north half.
it is now.
Yeah.
It is now a separate property. It wasn't in 2021 when we condemned it, when the city condemned it.
I'm following you, so it got split, but we weren't notified.
Right.
Right, we didn't have to.
They did not replat.
So do we
This
need a
city-
motion to
This city
uncondemn
does
that building?
not
They're gonna
replat lots here. Some cities. do, some cities
Resolution.
don't.
Yeah,
So they were legally fine to do that, even though it's under condemnation.
That's a decision, it's borderline.
The ordinance, there is an ordinance that says they shouldn't have done that.
Right.
But they did.
Yeah.
And then fairly, yeah.
It's a rare thing,
It doesn't happen very often.
No.
Someone did call me, one of the people associated called me and I said, well, it's possible. I should say it on record, but but then they went really fast and they're very excited to do it. Obviously, they're here. I don't want to speak for them. But it would have, yeah. There were a lot of steps that could have gone a little bit smoother on this thing. I really blame the original owner for just kind of ignoring our condemnation process and not telling us that he wanted that other building to be available for development.
Sure. Not their fault.
Patrick, would you suggest to the commission to redo a resolution?
Yeah.
That way it's documented in.
Yeah.
Documents to pull out the north 125 125 feet of those two blocks.
Thank you. Yeah, so then if that's the direction, we'll do a proper resolution that basically amends the condemnation action to only include the rest of the.
you need that form of a motion then?
No,
Not tonight, I'd like to do it in 2 weeks. I know these guys are in a hurry, but I think, if that's the consensus, we want to know what direction council want to take it before we drafted that.
I'd like to take it out.
Take-
Well, yeah.
Yeah, take it out, I mean, let it go ahead, but they're, sure, yeah, let it.
What about the legalese?
Maybe for the benefit of them to feel better, you could make a motion to direct staff to draft that resolution.
I'll make a motion, to have staff draft a resolution exempting the said building and lot and property to be not discriminated against as far as being
Then,
condemned.
Okay.
Is that good enough for you?
I'll second that.
All right, yeah, just to.
sorry.
Just to cover myself. Does there need to be any, boundary between that condemned building there, so the kids and stuff can't get over there? I just wanna know. I was bringing it up, because I don't want to come back on me
I
there.
think that's a good point, like where can you park and, you know, that whole thing from, if it starts to cave in and all that crazy stuff.
My big, as long as they've got insurance, like,
Yeah.
that's
It's on them.
like.
Is your line staked where you guys have?
It's
not. Would,
We need a little help.
would you be able to show, could you show Delvin kind of what, do you think something you should Delvin the line and maybe that would help solve? it?
No, the city will not define a line.
Oh, yeah, we're at the final line.
No, no.
To argue the other side of that, it's not like we're doing anything to keep them out on the other side of it.
Yeah.
So
They've had it surveyed, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, been surveyed, so yeah. Pretty much done deal.
All right, Counselor Panzer has made a motion to separate that property from the hospital property, despite the fact that the hospital property is being condemned. And Counselor Panzer, or I'm sorry, Counselor Renard has seconded that motion. Any other debate or any other discussion needed here?
Just reason to bring it up here. We both believe that you need to have it documented properly, and that when somebody 5 years from now is dealing with it, it has a paper trail, and not guessing what happens.
Okay, yeah.
Well, it just covers ourselves there.
All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to the proposal, the 2025 pool fee increase with discussion.
You already told me. Here you are, guys.
He did have permission to leave.
That's what I just.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm 70, I can see, you got your glasses on, you're all right. Those sit at the edge.
You know, new iPad for myself and I found out there's a magnet on top, and so I'm gonna make this bigger.
All right, I wanted to. We talked about this back in November about pool fees and. We were getting ready to put out some information on, on social media about. The patrons about what to expect on with the pool fees coming this summer. Well, getting ready to do that, we kind of reached out to Angela and just had her kind of read through it, but there was some confusion on some wording in the fee schedule. And when we discussed, daily entrance of $1, I thought it was for per household or per, but in the fee schedule says resident. So when you think of resident, you think per person. And so there was some confusion as far as that went. And then the same way with like our resident, like a pass, resident pool pass for $30. Well, it says resident. So you're gonna charge $30 per resident per household. Well, I don't think that's not right either. So Angela and Alan and I got together and we discussed some things and the one you have in your packet was some suggestions on pool fees that you have in front of you. And then Katie and myself went about checking with other surrounding communities about what they charge and what they do, and that's on the sheet that I just gave you. I think we need to be careful, I understand, we need to generate revenue and all that, but you look at a lot of the surrounding pools, they are bigger than our pool. They have more amenities. to offer. So, so like with the proposed fees on there, those are just proposals, you know. We want to have discussion about this, what you guys think. I mean, we won't make a motion on it or anything like that, but just want to get your thoughts. You know, on if you have questions on what other communities do, but it kind of, I mean, everybody does a little bit of difference, but I mean, you look at their admission fees. I mean, they're pretty low. I mean, you even look at like Salina and Hayes, and, you know, they got big water parks. But then again, we gotta understand that, you know, we've made some improvements. We increased our wages for our guards. And we're doing our own trainings now, and so on. So, just trying to find that common ground and what we want to charge for this summer, so.
We are still getting $2 per meter, aren't
It's
we?
$3.
$3 per meter.
Correct. But like in our ordinance that we had back in November, it states that, you know, we're charging the $3. That doesn't automatically get them into free into the pool, or it could be additional fees.
If you didn't charge the monthly fee and the water bill, you'd be taxed your property taxes. I mean,
Yeah,
and I can think of, I know there's been a handful of cities that have. He was probably the first one, but it's you know, just something to pull off property tax, and that way everybody pays it directly rather than, you know, tenants and everything else. Lessons we left alone is because I know there's some grant money out there, but also, you know, I think there's no way we'll argue with you on a lesson that said we should, that there's just, if anything, a civic duty to teach kids how to swim. I've always been, during COVID, we should cut lessons out, or what, we cut lessons out because of staffing. We kept them getting lessons because it's important, you know.
Because right now, because what we have in our, you know, in our pool fees that we passed in November, for like a daily adult, it's $3.50. Child under 5 was free. Then the daily resident pass was $1. The daily students, $3. The pool rental was $200 for 2 hours. And then, of course, your season pass for a family was $150, individual $75. And then our resident season pass was $30. So those are just what we passed back in November. So
What kind of feedback are you getting?
I'm not getting any feedback because I haven't put anything out there yet.
so what's
What do you-
in the back?
But I'm sure whatever we decide, because there are gonna be changes,
Yes.
we will get some
Guys,
feedback.
these are suggestions, we thought, give you a place to start and then discuss and come back to the proper next time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the kids get to enjoy it with no hardship on the family. And if we can get close to breaking even, because we got a swimming pool and it has revenue coming in. If you look at the other things the city has, we've got a library. It doesn't make any money for the city. And there's a lot of things the city does that doesn't return money to the city. Having these different identities is what makes your city. You see what I'm trying to say? So if we can get close even to breaking even, I don't think.
You never will.
You never will, see, you never will,
Don't plan on it.
don't plan on it, so
These are lots.
I just so we don't raise it up enough and it becomes a hardship, that's what I
I
want.
agree 100%.
Yeah, because we have a lot of families that have 3 or 4 kids. And sure, they could do that family pass for $150, but how many of them can afford $150? That's $50 a month in the summertime. For
Well,
3 months.
the one thing too, that there will be some feedback as far as the pool form goes. Because when we passed that back in November, you know, there was 9 spots on that form where you could put 4 guests on there and we're taking that away
Yeah,
Yeah,
to keep it just basically household on there. And those people that are not residents kind of have them pay hopefully for those pool passes.
yeah.
so in other words, if you're paying on the water rate, your monthly rate, and like I wanna go swimming today, it would cost $3 for me to go in and go swimming, is that correct, or $3.50?
Well, that's the proposal.
$3.50.
What we adopted back in November was $1.
Okay,
That was where the confusion with the wording, because it says resident. So if you're got 5 people in that house, that's, you know, if all 5 of them come, that's $5.
okay, I see what you're saying, okay.
I've got a question about, the fee. You said that it's per meter or is it per household? And, my reference is for like the Hines Apartments. We have 2 meters, but we have 24 households.
We have to look.
Yeah, I'm not understanding.
Because I think we've been, I think last year we were paying like $48 a month.
There may be something in that same ordinance that says.
For each
number of
apartment,
living units.
even though we
Yeah,
only
and I
have
thought it
two
should say on
meters,
the,
we
I
got an
have each of
outside
my
meter and then
residents, like each of my like cottages
And my
and
folks,
senior living apartments have form.
Sure.
I would say
Now we're
that
doing
99% of them will utilize the pool.
So if
They
they
made
wanted to
it
go,
seem like it was
Yeah.
church.
they would pay
There's
$3.
no perfect, just where you wanna be with it,
Yeah,
and as you look at your other budgets, we're gonna go in the budget here for too long.
Yeah.
And we gotta.
Kind of off the wall here, but how many swimming lessons do they do in summer? Like kid wise, how many kids?
Well, we gotta, I mean, are you thinking about revenue we have to make or because
Yeah.
nobody pays for swim lessons? Because we have a foundation that pays up to 125 lessons per summer.
And you don't get a,
And
Yeah.
we've maybe surpassed that twice since they started doing that.
Okay.
So,
And it's just one lesson per kid.
yeah, it's just one lesson.
So I
So
wanna
if they pass
take that
level
lesson.
1, they wanna move to level 2, then they gotta pay for that next year.
well, that's kind of where my brain was going with that, because I'm like, if we did go to some type of family, like, I didn't know if there was a way to. Look at the positive part of in doing an increase if we didn't charge for the. You know, if we were raising our rates, and somehow try to incorporate.
Right. That's always been a great thing as far as swim lessons, was that foundation pays for those, so. So that's, I guess the biggest question is what we want to charge. You know, if we stick to that dollar, is it gonna be $1 per household or is it gonna be per resident in that household? And then if we do like a daily or a pass, a summer pass for those residents. I mean, I think that should be just a set amount for that household, like the $30 like we have now, but yeah, we just need to make sure, what our fee schedule says is matching what our ordinance says and the wording as well.
Are we ready to digest it? Are we ready to vote on it? What do you want to do?
So the season pass family is 150, right? That gets your whole, everybody in your house in,
For family, yes, that's what we adopted back in November.
was 150. Okay, and
If
then
you
the
have
40,
6 kids or 10 kids. Yep.
okay, and then the 40 is just one person.
For one child. If they only had one child, they pay the 40 and had the child was swimming through the summer. Is that correct?
I know we're getting pretty close to, inside 3 months of this, but
Well, and that's kind of why we want to get the information out now and, because now we're moving the form to online. For people to fill out if they want. I mean, we still have the paper form as well, but.
well, with a little info, I mean. I think within a couple hours on Facebook, we'll have our feedback, but I mean. I would kind of like to know what. Read what some people are gonna say, but I would like to hear what some people have to say about it, so.
What do you think? Like, if it was your decision, what would you like to see done?
Well, I mean. What we're proposing, I think it's too high. I mean, I really do.
What's in our
I'm glad
package?
you said that, because I'm thinking the same.
What's in the packet?
Yeah. What if we drop the season family pass down to $100? And then the adult over 18, make it 2. Make the kid 2. And then the season pass individual, make it 30.
So that 75 becomes 30?
Well, I'm looking at, are we looking at this, or are we looking at the packet? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, that's what, I'm not really looking at that.
Yeah,
That's old.
I'm looking at the back.
Yeah, resident, non-resident. And there's a debate in the world, you know, how do you? And because I had a city that wanted to do residents one time, and some people argued, says, well, I may be, I'm not a resident city, but I own 2 businesses in town. And I pay more property taxes than anyone you in this room. And so that's always one of those, it's.
That's gonna come up. I think that's gonna.
But you
come up.
always had that. Have non-residents always paid more than residents?
No.
They haven't, they were always saying,
Well, could we just get rid of the non-resident and just make it?
Yeah.
If you go, you pay this. Why do we care where, I mean, does it really matter where they?
well, because the argument, of course, is
They don't pay.
you pay $36 a year,
Yeah, they don't.
I pay 36, and I have no kids.
Yeah,
That's true. But I mean, to make it simpler.
I like Tyler's idea to drop that down a little bit, because we're not here to put a hardship on the families. They're here to have fun and.
I mean, you can look at what other pools, I mean,
Yeah.
I got what, you know, they're charging for pool passes.
Well, I'm kind of looking at Boisington, they're 50 and 100, right? Is that?
So is the rest of them.
30 and 100. I mean, like, I got 2 kids, so I'm gonna get 2 separate, I'm gonna spend $60. I'm not gonna buy a family, I ain't gonna go. Well, I'm pretty cheap, them going up there all the time.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 and 100 is fine, but then,
Is that,
you're still gonna have to debate the resident, non-resident issue.
I say we just get rid of the non-resident. Just have it one rate.
I disagree.
Okay. How about 150? For a family pass or 40 or something, well,
I mean, I'm all for less accounting problems, yes. You know,
Could you get the feedback like Aaron said and quickly? Is there a quick way to get it and bring it back?
I mean, we can,
What do you guys think about this? Just throw it out there and. You know.
Well, I'm curious how accurate you are on the resident, non-resident thing anyways.
yeah. Yeah.
Unless you guys.
We have decided, yeah, we're gonna decide soon. We're gonna move on. Yeah. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Don? You want to decide tonight or do you want to just let Ronnie feel it out?
Put some feelers out there, Ronnie, and see what you get. I like Tyler's proposal. We could do that too. I like Tyler's proposal. We're all gonna have proposals. We're all gonna get feedbacks, but we're gonna, and ultimately, we're gonna have to make a decision.
Yep.
130, right? For,
I mean, I don't think that's, I don't know.
I think you're
I mean,
reasonable.
if you had like 6 kids, yeah, you're gonna spend 100 to get the family, but if you know, you're gonna do it until. It costs too much for the individual.
so what do you wanna do as far as, say they don't wanna buy a pass and they're a
Charge
resident,
them $2.
cause it's $1 right now. So that's what we passed.
$2 you'd have 15, if your kids go more than 15 times.
Well, I know mine will. I'm definitely buying some kind of pass.
But here on the proposal, it's daily child $2 fees, what it is. Right?
Yeah, that's on the proposal, yeah, that's in your package, so.
So Tyler's saying go daily adult $2, daily child $2. Was that right, Tyler?
Yeah.
And then season pass 100 and then 30.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I was.
I know some pools, they just have flat fee. say they're 5 and under, but then if they're above 6, everybody all the way up through adults, they all pay the same.
That would be,
I feel like that would make it easy.
Yeah, it'd make it a lot easier. When you got kids right at the gate and different things, it's just, yeah, a lot easier.
So what I'm hearing is $2 for admission on a daily, $100 for family pass, 30 for individual pass. And what do you want to do with the non-residents?
That, I just wrote down some figures here. I wrote $3 for a non-residential and $150 for a non-residential and 50 on the season pass.
My question, I can see where you're gonna have good luck with the non-resident on a pass, but. Like, how hard is it to catch that at the gate?
Well, what we're gonna do is once they sign up, if they get, we're gonna do those cards. Because they got that print. that
Okay, the average,
Card machine.
a good way might be to do that. The average meter in town, they pay $3 on, right?
They pay $36 a year.
Okay, so for non-resident, each of those prices, just add $36, it's gonna come out in the wash.
there you go.
Really? If that way, no one's paying more than anybody else, it's fair across the board. So in other
Theirs
words,
would be 66 for an individual.
Yeah.
136 for a family.
right, since we're charging $3 per household, let's just do the $3 for non-resident. Add that in for a year, 36, and that'd be, and let's say, well, we're treating everybody the same that way, everybody's paying the same price in the long run. That way, someone won't say, well, I buy all my stuff in Ellsworth and I'm being penalized because I'm not a city resident. We don't want to get that started either.
I think if you get the feedback, there may be another idea out there that's really good.
Yeah.
too. There might be, you don't know.
Yeah.
Someone else is like, hey, here's what we did in this state, and you're like, wow.
But
that's
I hate
nice.
to just, I don't wanna drag this out.
No.
Yeah.
I'd say the next meeting, we just decide.
Yeah, put that on, we're talking about the $36 more. And then get some feedback in 2 weeks, we'll make a
Yeah,
motion.
make a motion, let it rip.
Does that sound right, Tyler?
I think that's,
Yes, yeah.
So let me make sure I got this right.
36, I would probably bump it up to 40, but.
40, well. It's easier to figure at 40, but yeah, but you know what I'm thinking.
And daily pass, two, 3 or 4.
We said 2,
2 for resident, 3 for
3 for
non-resident.
non.
And then you got resident pass, family 100, individual 30, non-resident 136 for family, and 66 for individual.
Could you bump that up to 140 and 70?
yeah, yeah, let's do that. It's be so much
That would be
easier.
nice for numbers.
It makes more sense to do
That's
that.
because I'm rent.
That way it's fair to everybody, whether you're a resident or non-resident, everybody's paying pretty close to the
can
same
you
thing.
do that one more time? Ronnie?
It costs you money to come to the.
So,
Ron, can you just go ahead and retype it up and get that one?
yeah.
Yeah, great, appreciate
Hey,
it.
we're moving it to, department heads. Do you have anything else?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
so I can tell you about it.
Thank you.
Per resident, per residential household, for the
Fine, all
fee,
that.
Per kid.
Per kid, per person.
per person, yeah.
Thank you, Ron.
But the
Appreciate it.
season pass is per household, right?
Del,
Family pass, yes.
Because I can't bring my nephew if I have like, but if he was 7, right? Because that clarification is what started.
all right, Delvin, what's your wrap
All
up?
right, I had a developer get with me this afternoon that's interested in building some duplexes here. But, they want to make sure that we'll rezone. Because we did rezone or have it when they go and sell land. They're thinking the Cameron edition. Before I go through all, before I go through all the planning commission and rezoning, they just want to make sure that, what you guys are thinking about. Making that R2 for duplexes out there at Cameron edition,
Where is the camera edition?
out where, Karen.
Karen, not there. Is it, does it face the highway? Is that,
That's the where they're thinking about starting right along the
Okay.
highway.
there's a little space there between the row? and-
Yeah.
Okay,
And then if that works out, then we,
sure.
maybe they will work.
They want to do duplexes, is what you said?
Yes, so I was just kind of,
So Karen's house.
It'd be on the,
Here's 410, Aaron's
Probably
like here,
yell at.
there's a row. of houses.
Oh, up there.
It's called-
yeah, it'd be on the
This-
east side of Terry
this-
Park's house.
There's several acres right in there.
Yeah.
Her road comes out to here.
Well, we have a housing problem. I don't see why we'd be doing anything to restrict it. If they're only doing 2-family dwellings per location.
Yeah, it would be,
It's not like a 4 apartment.
no, it would just be R2, which they can't do more than 2 that.
Okay, yeah. I think we decided that before, that would be one of the limits to CR2, didn't we? Pretty much.
Yes,
Yeah, I think we did, so. I'm only speaking for one, but I don't see any problem with it.
Now, which developer was it, one of the two that we met before?
They don't want me to say it,
Okay, I figured. That's fair, that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair, we like that, it's good.
but,
As long as it's
yeah,
good quality.
Yeah, as long as.
yeah, yeah.
But right now, we don't have any problem, but we want to get the history of the company before we make a decision.
Yeah,
That's what I leave it.
all
I
right,
can get some references on the building committee.
But we'll approach it in a fresh way too. We
Yeah.
won't go back to what we did a year ago, so
yeah, that's just what they're looking to do.
they're gonna get that, yeah. New city administrators.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, thank you. Looking back there, I don't see golf, police chief. Chief Benny back there? I don't see him, okay. I don't see Troy. David, you have anything?
No.
No. Okay. City attorney, Patrick.
I don't have anything, I can't think of anything, I want anything. No,
Nothing.
we're good.
All right, city clerk. Okay. Well, we are gonna miss you. If anybody doesn't know by now, Mariana's gonna be leaving day after tomorrow.
our last day.
Yeah, I think you contributed a lot. You came during a tough time. And so thank you for serving the city, for the citizens, your patience, and I hope you kind of look back in your life and, you know, the memories are positive.
Have they done an exit interview yet?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Good luck with that too, so. All right, let's see who's next year. It's the city administrator. Go ahead.
I gotta stay real short since I'm passing 6 o'clock members for the council president.
Okay.
But nevertheless, next meeting we'll discuss about some city positions, the clerk thing, maybe public works and some other things, just to get discussion with the commission. We're gonna be bringing water rates, wastewater rates to you probably next month, by the second meeting. You know, with the needs we have, and we do this special, day for special meeting again. But let's worry about that tomorrow night and, for the comments, for the handbook training and updated plan before. So I have, thank you.
Ready? All right, city council, Tyler, do you have anything?
No.
All right, council president, do you have anything? Aaron, do you have anything?
No.
Don, do you have anything?
Yes, I have a couple of things. Alan brought up about the water rates. And when we get ready to do that, like the pool thing we decided tonight, I'd like to see how gradually we could do that to achieve our goal without making it just a big whammy, because I think, you know, people struggling right now. I don't want us to do more harm than good by making people take it away from other things, but yet the city, we need to pay for a $10 million project we're doing. So I like to try to get it to the point where we can hold our water rates and everything the same. And then I think you in your letter, you talked about maybe we can double check for next year on the mill levy, is that right? Kind of hold everything together.
You guys, I mean, seriously, there's no levy needs to come down.
Yeah,
I'll do very much. And, because you want to encourage growth in the community a little bit. The water issues, I think you're gonna see some increases, but we'll have more discussion and maybe some movement, some things.
that's something for us all to think about.
The nice part about the sewer project is with using the revolving loan fund. More than likely, your first payment is not due till probably 28. But you need to start beefing into it, because if not, then you have that, you know, when payments are due, what are you gonna do, you know? And that commitment's not going away, it's part of your KDG permit this year, that we have to get moving on that project.
Okay. And then I got a couple more things. One thing is, and Alan, you can help me with this. This last week, I was mentioned that I was in violation of, executive session rules, and which I am not, everything we discussed was in open meetings. And you had some input to that, didn't you, Alan?
Executive sessions, and I'm going to defer to the attorney, because I'm not an attorney, but, I've always said, and in my past history has been, what is said in executive session. I don't know of any law that says you can walk out and can't shout out to the world. Now, it's stupid. It's totally the stupid thing to do, because if you're talking about me in executive session, I'm not an employee, so if I was an employee, in executive session, and I hear about it, and I sue the city, guess what?
Yeah.
You're my witness. And, we had, we had an executive session a couple of weeks ago about that one issue here in town. You don't want to talk about it because then you become part of the lawsuit, or you'll have to testify, or you will, as my city attorney always says, you'll get to sit beside me in the courtroom. Nobody wants to do that. And, and again, there's also the thing about executive session is you gotta be real careful, because as a governing body group of 6 people here, by saying anything in executive session, are you losing trust? And the one thing that any governing body has to have is trust between everybody. And, I learned that in my note Friday, we gotta give up that trust between everybody. That's the way you're gonna survive.
Okay, because both of the items that I was talking about were discussed during open meetings, so that would be no violation of executive sessions, correct?
I'm more worried in executive session violations of stuff that's talked behind closed door and decisions are made,
Yeah.
I don't know, what to add to this conversation? Hey,
I just want to be fair for everybody, so everybody's on the same page.
yeah, sometimes at the meeting, well, every meeting, if you ever look in the back, especially during council comments, if I'm making the face, that means you're talking about something I know what you're talking about. And I don't recall making the face lately, it's always possible to. But sometimes there's information that is in executive session, at one point it's confidential, but then later it becomes publicly available through a different source because it's talked about in open session or anything. That happens for everything.
Okay.
I mean, if we tell you, if it's an executive session, it should be confidential, but sometimes things come out in different sources. So.
Okay, well, I just wanted to clear that up. And then,
Real quick, Don, can I ask him a question while we're on the subject? Can you get a thorough grip on what can come out of executive session in the state of Kansas? Because each state is different. And in particular, I think the thing that fascinates me is when things are done in executive session that are unethical, there are things that are borderline illegal. It seems like those rules kind of need to be thrown out the door. Like, what's that limit? You follow what I'm saying? If somebody hauls up and just open hand slaps somebody, you see what I'm saying? What is that limit? If you could find out what that is, I think that would be very valuable.
I'll have to think about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that limit is kind of what we're talking about. What is that limit? Yeah.
We worry, at least city manager
Sure.
worry about making decisions in the executive session, because, public government is best done in front of the public. Old fashioned rule, live by it. In my career, I've always told city commissioners, keep executive sessions to a minimum. Because just by, you go home tonight and say something to your wife, just a little piece, may have nothing to do with it, but where's that fine line? So, that's why you do want to keep that. But again, I'm not a big executive session fan. There's reasons, of course, for property acquisition, and there's reasons for personnel, because you do have people and confidentiality, and those things have to be kept active.
I don't like doing executive sessions either for all those reasons. You should make decisions in public. I do encourage councils to weigh on the side of caution with personnel. And within the last 12 months, we have had a lot of personnel issues that have come up that have needed to be in executive session because people's personal information and their job performance has been discussed. So
Okay.
anyway, that's all I really have on. I really not going too much.
Well,
I'm not aware of any executive session violations.
and since you said that, I'd like to go to an executive session for 15 minutes for non-elected personnel.
So you made a motion.
Let's make it for 12 minutes, so it's 6:45.
So you come out at 6:45 and your justification would be to discuss the performance of non-elected personnel.
Right, and I would like, Michelle, are you out there? Yeah, would you stay?
Yes.
And Mary,
Oh,
Can you do that?
well, Michelle,
She's economic development.
Economic development?
no, she's not a city employee.
Oh, okay, I thought she was because of that.
No, she's not a city employee.
Okay, I'm glad you stopped that. then.
Yes, would not be comfortable having.
I'm,
mine.
okay.
Okay,
Nothing
good.
personal.
And I have no idea what she wants to talk about, so it's
She's
not related to
not,
that.
she's not a city, she's not a
Okay.
city employee.
I
So
thought
is it that she has information she wants to pass to us?
Yeah, she has information she'd like to pass to us.
No,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever wanted someone who wasn't a city employee. Usually not elected personnel needs to be the administrator, maybe the attorney, and maybe one of the employees that's involved with that.
Okay, are we allowed to go in executive session for us to discuss what she discussed with me then?
Maybe, I don't know what it
It has to do
Here we
with,
go again.
well, I want to make sure we're not doing anything illegal.
I would prefer regularly,
You feel like addressing the city council?
her. I think would be,
I mean, catching me blind,
how can you?
council member, catching me unawares and not knowing at all what's going on. I would, if you could bring Alan, I assume, doesn't know either what you want to talk about.
No,
Okay,
and I'm
so I
real
know.
concerned about, I'm not sure if it's during my privilege.
Well, I don't know anything about it, so
okay,
yeah, if you would like to talk to us afterwards, we could figure out.
I'll talk
what
to you
do.
guys afterwards and then
Thank you.
you can contact the people involved if you want, because I want to make sure this is on the level that we're not violating anything. That's why I'm asking.
We'd have told you.
Okay. Good. And it's nothing that bad. It's just that we need to get some answers. Okay. And you won't believe it, but that's all I've got.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Darcy, tonight, just comes down to me, so, working on my Kansas Farm Bureau leadership class, thank you to my employers for allowing me to have the flexibility this weekend. Meet the governor, so I get to go to her office, so that's exciting. We have about a half an hour with her. I'll probably ask her the same question I asked Jim Clyburn. I met him about 5 years ago. He's a Democrat in Congress, and, question I'll ask her will be simply, who do you hang out with on the other side of the aisle? It's a great question. Who in the Republican side are you friends with? And I think that's something that we've lost. We look at somebody and we say they're from a different political party, but I still think you can be friends, you can hang out on a personal level, and you can still have a very serious philosophical difference with them. So that'll probably be the question I'll ask her. It's always been a good question. Believe it or not, he answered. It was Lindsey Graham and Trey Gowdy. That's who he hung out with. Played golf with him, and those were Republican, legislatures that there are. So that was a good question to ask him. So, I think that's about it. That's the big news for me. But I do want to ask Councilor Panzer something. If you could provide written documentation of what you said last week, between minutes 57 and 59, I'd greatly appreciate that. And it had to do with the ICMA investigation and the results of it. The people that that contacted you, some of the comments that were made. If you could, and I won't be here the next meeting, but I give you a month.
I can just tell you.
No, want it writing. These
Okay.
people work. ICMA information, you talked about the county attorney, city attorney, KBI, I need those three, and something from ICMA. For those comments, go back and review the comments,
Patrick,
and then we'll go
I
from
don't
there.
know.
I'm not comfortable.
I don't understand what the request is. I mean.
He made some comments, go back and watch the tape, and I wanna see proof of it.
Well, didn't you say it's on the tape though?
Yeah, it's on the table.
But because he says it does not mean it's true.
Well, that may be, but I don't understand what,
I'm gonna ask him to prove it.
You call me a liar then?
I'm not,
You did last week.
I did not.
You did too. You said
I
you're
said you
lying.
made stuff up. There's
No.
Anyway,
Jesus, here we go again. Drama.
I think Alan and I are saying this doesn't feel like city business for in the best interest of the city of
when
Elton.
somebody is called delusional, that's inappropriate. I mean, I could drop it right there, but I'd like him to do that within a month. That'd be great.
I don't think I have to.
No, you don't have.
No, you don't have.
No, I'm not, I tell you what, I don't see how some people can be and brag about how religious and how faithful they are and treat people the way they do it with hate. Either you're religious or you're a hater. You're
Don,
not
just
both.
provide some written documentation.
I'm not gonna do anything for you.
I just wanted to ask. So with that said, we'll adjourn the meeting. How's that?
You get what you asked for, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll say. All right.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Motion carried.
Your turn.
Yeah, I've got 32